Chargers family, today is not just some casual little walkthrough. Today we've got internal battles heating up, players trying to snatch roster spots away, franchise leadership sitting right on the table, and a rookie trying to shake up the defensive hierarchy. OTAs are here, and this is exactly where serious teams start separating promise from real pieces. While a lot of people are sleeping on what Los Angeles can become, we're looking at where the pressure is rising, who has to answer right now, and who could explode before the season even gets here. Hit that like button and subscribe, because this one is coming with the energy this fan base deserves. Direct, hot, and no breaks. The battle that can set Chargers OTAs on fire is sitting in the receiver room. Because while a lot of people are watching the offensive line, 6th-round picks UDFAs trying to survive, and depth chart fights at the bottom of the roster, the real pressure point is with the pass catchers, and I'm going straight at it. Los Angeles cannot walk into 2026 without knowing who truly runs that room. They just can't. Herbert needs hierarchy. He needs trust. He needs to look outside and know who is winning routes, who is catching contested balls, and who is turning a simple play call into an explosive gain. Ladd McConkey has already shown a lot in 2 years, but the standard changes now. With Keenan Allen back in 2025, McConkey's target share dipped. His production dipped too, and if the plan is for him to become that primary intermediate target, that yards after catch weapon, then he has to take that role. Not ask for permission, take it. Because a WR1 on an ambitious team does not live off pretty flashes. He lives on repetition, third downs, defenses knowing the ball is coming and still not being able to stop it. And Quentin Johnston? The 5th-year option gave him security, absolutely. But contract security does not wipe away inconsistency. He has the size, the ceiling, the presence of an ex-receiver, but he has to turn potential into a weekly threat. Because Trey Harris is right there, with the physical profile, blocking, contested catchability, and the pedigree to bite into snaps. Brennan Thompson brings ridiculous speed to attack deep. Keandre Lambert-Smith already showed dynamic plays as a rookie and could become a creative piece in this offense. That is why this room is so dangerous and so fascinating. There is no defined alpha. There is opportunity. There is pressure. There is an offense trying to figure out who deserves real volume once the season starts. And in OTAs, even without heavy contact, trust starts in the details. Timing, routes, hands, reads, presence. Whoever dominates now does not just win praise in May. He gets a head start in the race to become a central piece for the Chargers. The second story is quieter, but it is exactly the kind of move a well-built team needs to get right. Amar Johnson. And I know a lot of people see a practice squad running back and just keep scrolling. But that is the difference between chasing headlines and understanding roster building. Johnson was born in O'Fallon, Missouri, became an important piece at Chaminade College Prep, arrived at South Dakota State as a runner and returner, waited behind Isaiah Davis, and when he finally became the starter, he answered with 1,222 rushing yards, 14 touchdowns, and 6.4 yards per carry. He went undrafted in 2025, mainly because of questions in the passing game and evaluations pointing to below-average instincts and recognition early in runs. Fine, but Green Bay brought him in as an undrafted free agent. He fought hard in the preseason, got cut, and the Chargers went searching for a cheap alternative after losing Raheem "Rocket" Sanders during roster cuts. In Los Angeles, Johnson appeared in 2 games, had 2 carries for 8 yards, 1 target, 4 offensive snaps, and 3 special team snaps. That is not production you yell about like it changes the franchise. But that is not the point. The point is he earned a futures contract for 2026, now under a new offensive coaching staff, and he has an 8.80 RAS, a strong number for the position. That puts pressure in the room. He has to show more as a receiver, more vision, more consistency. But if he turns athleticism into trust, he can force the Chargers to take this competition seriously. For me, the next one goes way beyond a contract. It is identity. Derwin James is entering the final year of that 4-year, $76.53 million deal he signed in 2022. And the question sitting right on the table is simple. Are the Chargers really going to let this thing breathe too long? Because Derwin is not just another good player on the roster. Derwin is a pillar, a presence, the tone setter for the defense, the kind of guy who changes the energy on the field before the ball is even snapped. And Joe Ortiz knows it. During his appearance on Up and Adams, when Kay Adams asked how much of a priority it is to make Derwin a Charger for life, Ortiz did not dance around it. Extremely high priority. Then he went past the usual cold executive talk. He said that back when he was with the Ravens, Derwin was the highest player on Baltimore's board when they were on the clock. The Ravens traded back, Derwin landed in Los Angeles, and years later Ortiz got to the Chargers and told him something along the lines of, "You should have been a Raven, but I'm glad you weren't." That hits hard, because this is not just tape evaluation. This is long-standing admiration meeting the perfect reality right now. Ortiz talked about the talent, obviously, but he leaned hard into the leadership, the character, the person. And when a general manager puts leadership, character, and talent in the same package, my friend, that does not sound like goodbye. That sounds like the foundation of a project. Derwin turns 30 in August. He is still playing at a high level, and he would still have a market. So the Chargers need to show aggression here, not to do something reckless, to protect the heart of the defense. Harbaugh praises this guy for a reason too. Players like that hold a culture together when the game gets ugly, when the offense wobbles, when the season gets tight. It could happen this offseason, during the year, or before free agency. The timeline can still move, but the message is already on the table. Los Angeles wants Derwin James in powder blue for a long time, and I want to see the fan base in the comments. Should Derwin retire as a Charger? Yes or no? To me, the answer is brutally obvious. The fourth story connects straight to that defensive conversation, because if Derwin James is the pillar, Genesis Smith could be one of those new pieces that changes the rotation faster than a lot of people expect. The Chargers came out of the 2026 draft filling depth in several spots. Akeem Mesidor and Jake Slaughter projected as day one starters. Nick Barrett trying to carve out space inside the defensive line. Brennan Thompson fighting for special teams work and an offensive role. Alex Harkey and Logan Taylor trying to become interior offensive line depth. But Smith is different, because his path depends on one aggressive question. Can he clean up enough to force the team to put him on the field? The profile is clear. Genesis Smith came out of Arizona as a ball-hawking safety, instinctive, with the ability to read routes, see the quarterback, and attack the ball down the field. Greg Zierlein from NFL.com pointed to that exact thing in his pre-draft report. Coverage traits, eyes to process route development, and premium ball skills. But he also pointed out the issue nobody can dress up: open field tackling and run defense. That is where OTAs matter. He is competing with R.J. Mickens and Tony Jefferson. Jefferson had a solid 2025 season, with 37 solo tackles and 4 interceptions, came back on a one-year, $1.5 million deal, and still brings experience. Mickens grew after the Alohi Gilman trade, played 47% of the defensive snaps, and posted 18 solo tackles with 2 interceptions. But if Smith starts showing growth in secondary drills, especially with tackle angles and security in space, the conversation changes. Because instinctive coverage is not easy to teach. Ball skills, route recognition, timing, that is value. If he cleans up the weakness, the Chargers get a rotational safety with a real chance to steal snaps. And in a defense that wants to be more aggressive, that kind of piece does not stay hidden for long. The takeaway today is simple. The Chargers are not sitting around waiting. They are in competition mode. The receiver room needs to find its owner. Amar Johnson has to prove he is more than athletic depth. Derwin James needs to be treated like a foundation piece, because leadership like that does not show up every offseason. And Genesis Smith has a real chance to turn coverage talent into meaningful snaps. That is how a roster grows. Internal pressure, firm decisions, and players understanding that jobs are not handed out, they are taken. If you want to follow this battle every single day, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and comment. Who else could explode during these OTAs?